How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Today I want to talk about Operation Northwoods and how it's very similar to the 9/11 attacks. So if you don't know what Operation Northwoods was, it was pretty much a staged terrorist attack from the United States government to give us an excuse to attack Cuba. The idea was to get the support from the United States citizens to go to war. The attacks that were planned were eerily similar to the 9/11 attacks. The plan was to destroy a few U.S. ships, hijack planes and destroy U.S. cities with them, and use bombs and active shooters. Luckily, this plan was never executed as it got denied by President John F. Kennedy. What makes Operation Northwoods so interesting to me is that it shows that the United States government is not afraid to hurt civilians in order to get what they want. It's actually wild that these files were released to the public in the 1990s. So I want to go over the similarities between Operation Northwoods and 9/11. First, you got to ask the question, why? Did the United States government want to go to war? Prior to 9/11, there was tension and hostility towards Iran, and they were on the border of conflict. So just like that, we established a motive. Now let's talk about the similarities between Operation Northwoods and the 9/11 terrorist attack. The one that obviously stands out to me and everyone else is that in Operation Northwoods, they did talk about hijacking aircrafts and essentially kamikaze-ing U.S. cities. Now, obviously, that's compelling and striking evidence against the United States government, but I don't think it's that deep, to be honest with you. Actually, I do think it's a little deeper. So my mind goes into two directions if the government did it. One is, why did they hit the top of the towers and not the base of the towers? Because hitting the base of the towers would have done more damage, would have caused more lives, and it would have got the American people fired up to go to war. Because when they did hit the top of the towers, I don't think anyone expected the towers to collapse. And I am no architect or engineer, but it's hard to believe that a aircraft hitting the top of a building is going to cause it to collapse, especially a skyscraper that big. But you can also make the argument that it would make more sense to hit the top of the buildings. But on the other hand, it does make sense hitting the top of the tower, just because it's more visible to people. It's more polarizing to the American people. It might get them fired up seeing the actual aircraft hit the South Tower. And then on top of that, there's going to be less lives lost, better financially because you don't have to rebuild a whole tower, two towers. But I do think if the government did do it, they would definitely go for the base of the tower, because at that point, like, you're already in the operation, you might as well go full blown into it and try to create as much havoc as possible. But at the end of the day, it's just something fun to talk about. I don't think the government was involved. I think it was all Al-Qaeda. But it's fun to talk about.